environmental and natural scientists have to go out in the field and collect data. And when you're using technology, a big piece of that is being prepared. And so what today is, we're going to start you off with what I would do if I'm starting a brand new project and I don't even have anything to show to start with. And I'll walk you through how I set up the project and then get everything organized before I go in the field. And in this video, we'll probably only do the first part of that, which is getting all your folders organized. And so here I am in my class folder, just because that way I won't lose this and have extra data floating around. And I'm going to create, so I always keep a project in a folder. So everything I get for that project, I keep in the same folder so it doesn't get lost. And if I come back 3 years later, I just go back to that folder and reopen everything so that things don't get lost. So I'm making a new folder, and since this is just a test project for me, I'm going to call it test project. And I'm not going to capitalize my R. And, oh, I already have one. New. All right, we will call it test project 2. Okay, so now I've got a new folder, and I open it up, and the first thing I want to do is make an organization. And so the way I do it, and there are hundreds of different ways to do this, but I typically start by creating folders. And I create a folder for vector data, and I usually call that shape files for all the vector data I'm going to put in there. And then that way, when I create it, I have a place to put it. And then I create another folder I call rasters. Here, we'll do it this way. New folder. And this will hold my DEMs, my imagery, anything that I need that's a raster image. And so I'm actually going to start. So I'm going to start by adding raster data, because when I create a new project in one of the GIS programs, it really helps to have a place to go to. And so usually I go onto the web, I find my location, and I download a DEM or some imagery that identifies my area. And that way the GIS program knows to fly straight there. And I'm going to come here, and I have this DEM. I've got a whole bunch of DEMs here. It really doesn't matter which one we use, but I'll use this Bare Earth DEM I've created, and I'm putting it in the rasters folder. Takes a second. Okay, there it is. And now I'm ready, and for now I'm ready to go into the GIS program. I use Quantum GIS. Other people can use other things. So I'm just going to make a new project here again to start from scratch. And the new project now, I'm going to save the project in my project folder with everything else. If you keep everything in the same folder, things don't get lost. So I'm going to start right away with save as, and I'm going to move it to and I have way too many folders, but I'm going to move it to our classes, and then into the Field Techniques and Technology class that this is being made for, and then to Test Project 2. And I'm going to save it right in the top here, so it's above all the other ones, and I'm going to call this Bare Earth Project, because that was the DEM I pulled in. And so now I have a project. If I was to add imagery at this point, like a Google Earth image, it wouldn't know where to go. And it would, in fact, why don't we do that? Why don't we start by adding a Google Earth image in? And to do that in QGIS, usually when you start the program from free, it has a layer, it has your browser window open. I use the browser so rarely that I keep it closed, but you go into View, Panels, and then Browser. And you open that up, and you have XYZ tiles that are things you can make. We'll do that in maybe, we've already done that for this class, we'll do it in another video, that you can add in a imagery. And so I'm going to do Google Satellite, and when you do that, you see, you just get a picture of the world because it doesn't know where to go. If, on the other hand, I add my raster data, then it'll zoom in. And so I'm going to go to Add Layer, Add Raster Layer, and raster data set, and we are going to go to, let's see, I think I'm going to keep having to navigate down there for a little bit. So we're going to Classes, and then our Test Project 2, rasters. Right now I'm having to navigate through a lot of things, but within this project, everything's all together. It's now opened, and then we're going to add it. And it wants to know, what projection to use. And so I'm going back to what we did before. I can see this is in UTM Zone 13 North, so I'm going to cancel this and close, and then I'm going to get rid of this, remove layer, and I'm going to go to my project properties and set up the correct CRS, Coordinate Reference System. And I'm here right at the top is North American Datum Zone 13 North. So I'm going to select that prop. There we go. I'm going to select that datum. And that allows us to having a correct datum is essential before you go in the field. If you go in the field with some odd, weird datum, you'll have bad data. And then we go into raster. Now we're back to raster, actually layer, add raster layer. And hopefully, it's all saved there, so I can just do add and close. And now I've got my data added on top of the Google Satellite. I'm going to right click and then do zoom to layer, and there's my project, or my raster data. I can turn it off now, but now I have a nice location that I can uh, add data to and work in. Next, we want to add some vector layer, because you can add all the different raster layer you want, but we're going to add vector layers. You can create layers, and there are different options for vector layers. GeoPackages are the most reliable. They get corrupted least often. Shapefiles are more corruptible, but they're much more transportable. There are a lot of different programs that you can move shapefiles into. So it's nice to have those. But the key thing with all of these is that each file is actually several files, and they all have to be moved together. If you leave out the projection file or the database file from a shape file, you won't have anything. I'm not going to spend time creating shape files for this, but at this point, you would make point files, line files, whichever you want. And you would, if you want to, you would create styles and save them. I am going to go into some files that I already have. I've got the test project here, and I am just going to copy those over. And you notice you have to copy everything. So copy, and then I am going to paste them into the file we've been working on, into that folder. So they are going to go into the new project folder we've made. And all your shape files, again, you want to have in that same folder. Test project 2, and now that is going in my shapefiles folder. And there we go. Notice that there are several different folders, and this organization is what you want before you go in the field, so that you don't end up with different files scattered different places and lost.